Welcome to Prime Life. We call it Retirement 2.0. Leave each episode with tips and new ideas to help you navigate retirement in our new age. It's your time. Make it count.
This podcast is for educational purposes only. It is not intended as medical, investment, or financial advice. We do not sponsor or endorse any of the individuals, companies, products, or services featured on this podcast. Any statements or opinions expressed are of the individual who makes them. We hope you enjoy the episode.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Prime Life Podcast. I'm Joseph Katz here again with my co-host, Mary. Mary, how are you doing?
I am doing very well. And one of the reasons is because I'm here with you, as I always share with our guests and our audience, because working with you is really just wonderful. You're an upbeat person, and it's just a great back and forth that we have. And I'm always excited to introduce our guest, especially today.
Are you ready to introduce our guest?
I think I'm ready for this quick start.
Get set.
Ready? I'm waiting for
Mary.
I'm ready. Waiting for a go.
I'm not going to fire a starting pistol. Go for it.
Today, our guest on Prime Life Podcast is Madonna B. Hanna, the fast fashionista, a retired fashion marketing instructor who will share her extraordinary, unexpected journey as a competitive sprinter. But just wait till you hear this. At age 70, she was featured on The Today Show, won her first National Senior Games gold medal, and scored a sponsor. But those of you that will be able to see Madonna, you're just not going to even believe she's 70. There's just no way. So Madonna, welcome to the Prime Life Podcast. Tell us a little bit about yourself and, how you got to where you are today.
First of all, greetings to you, Mary, Joseph, and to everybody who is listening and watching. And I got to tell you, I love hanging out with these people already. When you get an introduction that says this woman is 70 and she doesn't look 70, oh my gosh, thank you. I'll be glad to share just a few things about myself. I am a retired fashion marketing teacher who was teaching millennials when I was retired. And now I've got a millennial for a track coach. You talk about karma. And I do have a sponsor, which is Get Set Up, which is an online learning opportunity for adults where they have a chance to learn something new every day and live their best lives. And I'm also a freelance writer for AARP's online publication, The Ethel. And it was The Ethel that brought the story that I wrote for The Ethel caught the attention of a producer at the Today Show. And you never know what's going to happen to you in life. And here I am on the Today Show. And I've also been interviewed by National Public Radio, all things considered. I'm a motivational speaker and I also act. Let me add that on my 70th birthday, I tried out for a musical, never been in a musical before in my life, and I scored the role of Mrs. Santa Claus in a production of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. So recently somebody asked me, what was it like to be 70? Well, it's sensational. Come on, say. Won my first National Senior Games gold medal at the age of 70. I can hardly wait to see what's going to happen next. Come on.
So we have to apologize to our listeners. This is going to be a very low down show. It's going to be a very slow going show, right? I feel like I don't feel the energy yet. So Madonna, first, congratulations on all that. I think the most important thing is they didn't cast you as the reindeer, so that's a win.
Yeah. Well, Joseph, funny you should bring that up because the very first role I had as a child at a Baptist church, I was the donkey in a Christmas show. So
all right, well, you're moving up.
So when you go from a donkey at the age 4 to Mrs. Santa Claus at the age of 70, we can see how far I've come.
There's so many avenues to take this right now, but most of the people who listen to the show regularly know I'm a marketer. So let's dive into your experience in fashion marketing. Like, talk a little bit about that career part of your career, and let's go from there.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Growing up, I had an interest in fashion. I would rearrange my parents' clothing. They go to work, they come back home. Why is this over here? Everything's been reorganized. And I would often give fashion tips. So if you can picture me as a 5-year-old saying, darling, I think you should wear this and you should wear that. And like, what? And as far as public speaking and selling, I would give sales pitches to my stuffed animals and toys. So if you can just picture me as a child, 5 or 6, just, and I really didn't know that at that time that I would actually be going into the fashion industry. I started off as a retail executive at a large department store downtown Boston called Jordan Marsh, which is now Macy's, like everything else. And that was quite the experience because I was one of the few African American floor executives, and that's a whole other story about the 70s and what that entailed.
I was going to say that's probably an interesting story.
Yeah, all in itself, it was. And eventually I became, I worked at the corporate office of a national women's apparel and in the design offices. And then eventually when I moved from Boston, my husband and I moved from Boston to Washington State, I decided to go into teaching, and that gave me an opportunity to give back to an industry that I love. Now, along the way, because we have to get to meet, like, how's this fashionista, the fast fashionista, going to be? How does she get into running? But anyway, you did ask me about the fashion marketing, and
you can take it in that direction.
Oh, okay. Just let people know that I taught for 32 years, high school. Yeah. and it was a pleasure to be able to do that, to have a lasting legacy in that area. And a year before I retired, a year before I retired, I just got this book, and I had absolutely no experience, but my husband had track experience. And so here we go. I say to him, I want to run 100 meters. He says, let's go. Let's do it. Just do what I tell you to do. And I did. And would you believe my first time out, I won the 50 meters and won the 100 meters. Here we go. No experience. I'm like Forrest Gump out there. Let's just do it.
Did you know? So maybe you didn't, that you had some natural ability, because most people, and it sounded like you were somewhat surprised, but I'm curious, one, what did you teach in high school, and what did you do in terms of exercise or fitness that could potentially get you ready to be this amazing?
And we'll get that answer after a brief word from our commercial sponsors.
Nassau is always working harder to be your carrier of choice. We offer insurance products that can help you meet your retirement goals, such as protecting your savings, securing lifetime income, or paying for healthcare costs. We're dedicated to providing best-in-class service and are keeping things simple, and we'll have your back. We have around 400,000 policyholders and contract holders and have been doing this for a long time, 170 years, but we remain humble enough to always try to improve. For more information, visit nfg.com. Nassau insurance products are issued by Nassau Life and Annuity Company of Hartford, Connecticut, Nassau Life Insurance Company, East Greenbush, New York, or Nassau Life Insurance Company of Kansas, Overland Park, Kansas. Subsidiaries of Nassau Financial Group. Products are not available in all areas. Policyholder counts are for all Nassau companies as of September 30th, 2022, and are subject to change. Sprinter.
The high school that I attended had no track team for girls. This is, the late 60s, 70s, and I'm sure people in my age group would understand that as far as promoting females and athletes and so nothing there. But as a child, I did like watching the Olympics, especially track and field. And afterwards, I would sometimes go out to my backyard and play 100-yard dash. And as I moved on in my life, like I said, at the age of 57, it just hit me to run 100 meters. Couldn't shake the feeling. Sometimes in our life, something comes along and tells you to do something. And you go, what? I don't know anything about that. And then if you just step out and go with it, you realize, oh my gosh, this is something I'm good at. And I didn't even know I was good at it. Oh my goodness. And then at the same time, my late husband agreed that, okay, I'm going to help you with this. And once I entered the 2011 Washington State Senior Game, won the 50, won the 100, my opponents crowded around me and said, wow, you should come back and compete again so you can go on to nationals. And I'm thinking, nationals? What the heck's national? I just did this on a whim. Competed again, qualified for nationals. In 2013, my husband and I are in Cleveland, and we were exposed to this extraordinary experience of being around athletes who are 50 to 100 plus, who are competing in about 20 different sporting events. And we were just shocked, like, oh my goodness. And of course, that's become my life and my lifestyle now. In 2014, here I am competing again, and I severely ruptured my Achilles. I'll tell you, I was racing, and I heard what I thought was the starting gun going off again. But I thought, that's not possible because we're already running. Everything went dark. And all I know is witnesses said that I fell over the finish line in second place. That's what witnesses said. All I know is everything went dark. And I wound up looking up at I woke up looking up at the sky. And these nice people came over and said, Madonna, you're not racing anymore today. You're going to lay on this table for 20 minutes. They had this huge ice bag on my leg, and they said, you've ruptured your Achilles, and you're going to have to go to Tacoma General Emergency. I'm going to tell you something. The surgeon that I had, wouldn't you know, the first thing he says to me, because of your age, you're not going to have the explosive speed anymore. Because of your age and because of the severity of your rupture, which was worse than what the MRI had shown. In 2017, I said, I'm going to try this again because, you see, I never gave up. I never thought I wouldn't be able to do it again. Gold in the 50, gold in the 100. Sometimes in life, people might look at you and say, you're finished. You're washed up. Thought that. I
love that.
I never thought it. I had to work hard. And I said, let me just try again. And I did it. My husband and I did it. 2017 was also my husband's first bout with cancer. And in 2018, his third bout with cancer took his life. And he had helped me to qualify for another National Senior Games, which was going to be in Albuquerque, New Mexico, because this had become a lifestyle for us. Okay. With my husband and I, it was a destination vacation. With my new coach, oh, we're going to compete now. There's no vacation for me. But my husband's final request to me was to keep running, to keep racing, keep going. And in order to do my best at this next National Senior Games in 2019, I'd need a coach. I really would need a coach. And the person I asked was not able to help me, but she said, I've got somebody for you. He's an Olympic hopeful, NCAA champion, All-American 8-9 times, Pac West champion. Can I give him your number? And I said, of course. Yes, Olympic hopeful. Come on. And it was a favor to this woman who's an athlete herself. And it was for my coach and I, it was supposed to be like a one and done. Just, and how it was put to him was that, I'd like you to do me this favor and coach someone. She'll be like the oldest person you've ever coached. So this guy's 24 years old at the time, being asked to coach an older woman. And he's imagining all kinds of things because he can't say no, and so it was, like I said, it was going to be one and done just for a couple of months. And it's been 5 years now. And it's been 5 years. And
you're still running.
I'm still running. Yes. And together, he has, especially over the past 2 years, he has taken me from the middle of the pack nationally up to being ranked in the top 5. So in my age category, which would be 70 to 74, I'm ranked 5th in 50 meters and the 100 meters. So he took me from 16th and 17th place in 2 years. Of course, it's been a lot of hard work. My husband was old school, put the backpack on with bricks and ankle weights, run up hills, down hills. That's what it was. And when I transitioned to my new coach, new things like reps and Joseph, you've got track experience. I know you do, right? Don't you have some track experience back there?
No, I'm a cyclist. I
don't. Okay.
Running is like is like the complete opposite.
Okay. Okay. I knew you did something athletic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Just trying to get you in, buddy.
I stay active. You stay active.
Okay. But... Yeah. And so for those of you who have gone through a change, like for me, the instant change of unexpectedly becoming a widow. And then pursuing an activity that my husband and I did together and had success at. And then here's the new deal here, who is doing things so differently. I came close to quitting because what he wanted me to do was so different, so challenging. And I had to mentally slap myself and say, Madonna, you are not a quitter. Come on, East Coast retailer, and you've taught kids for 32 years. Come on, let's go. And sometimes we have to go through that life. We have to go through that in life, accepting what happens when you go through a change. Especially, like I said, since my husband and I had success, and it's like, well, why do I have to? This is very different. But I had to respect the fact that My coach is a world-class athlete. He has been coached by some of the best coaches in the world, and he is sharing his experience with me. And I've got to respect that. I know this is an expensive hobby for me, but I have to respect that and go with the flow of the change, go with the momentum of the change. And look where it has gotten me. I have more strength, power, and endurance. I'm getting faster. Over
You
the
may have more
last,
strength and power than I do, and I'm
yeah. Oh, I'm
considerably younger
sure.
than you.
I'm sure I do.
I'm gonna actually include myself in that for sure. I mean, I jog, I don't run, but I've been doing that for years. I think I shared with you, Madonna, when we spoke. I started my career in the fitness business, and I'm just amazed by everything you've shared. Can you share with our audience if there's a particular memorable competition moment in your athletic career that really sticks out for you that you'd like to share?
There's, well, okay. First, me rupturing my Achilles, losing my husband, and winning my first national gold medal at the age of 70. And it was in the 4x100. At the national games, the relay teams are put together on the spot. You just watch, oh, who did really well in the 100 meters, and you just put people together. And coach had me in as second leg, and he said to me, if you can imagine this, he's now 29 years old. Imagine him saying to me, a 70-year-old woman, he said, in order for us to get a gold medal, when you get that stick, you haul ass.
He was not mincing words, right?
No, and he's really laid back. He didn't say it as dynamic as I said it. He said, "When you get the stick, haul ass," and then he walks off. And I took the directive.
I took the directive. Right? Yeah, and don't drop it.
Yeah. Well, he didn't say that, but I knew not to do that. And I hauled ass. I did. And we won a gold. Our time was 1:17. The next time was 1:36 and 1:39. And then afterwards, I said to my young coach, I said, darling, did you ever think in your young life as a coach, you'd look in the face of a 70-year-old woman and tell her to haul ass, and she does it? We wind up with a goal. And then later, we were interviewed by the media partners for the National Senior Games. And it just hit me when I was asked that question. My knees went weak and I started crying. I'm not a crier. I started crying. And I said, I'm just so overwhelmed that, this is like my fourth time here at a national games. And I've finally won a gold medal. And I was just so overwhelmed. My coach had to hold me up. And the camera's rolling like, this is really good stuff. We didn't know she was going to start crying, and my knees went, you know how that goes. Yeah.
It's not acting like the play, right? It's not acting.
No, it was real and it was authentic. It was not me like, but, yes, so that's a memorable moment, the gold, and my coach saying, haul ass. And doing it.
So I could definitely see how you can motivate people. That's clear as day to me. But who are you speaking to in your motivational talks? Is it seniors? Is it younger folks?
People across all ages and stages. One, what I didn't bring up was that I was raised in a very white conservative suburb of Boston. And I was bullied because of the color of my skin. When you're the only one who looks like you in your classroom and your school, oh, that happens. So I do talk to young people about being bullied. There is light at the end of the tunnel. You're not alone, and no matter what is people bully you for, you're just not alone, because people will bully you about anything, anything, anything. And you're special. I'm the light at the end of the tunnel. You can do this. And I also talk to people about being a pebble. When you toss a pebble into the lake, it radiates out. And when you get yourself involved, your talents and skills, they radiate out to help others, because we have our talents and skills and abilities. They're not for us. They're to share with other people, like what you guys are doing right now. Your talents and skills, to have this podcast and to be able to share various people, their guests, their stories, that's your talent and skill. And so I just like to inspire people to say that you're loaded with talent. You're loaded with all sorts of skills. Get out there and help others. Share what you have to help others, to inspire and motivate and empower
So
people.
on that note, before
Everybody can do
Mary
that.
jumps in, because I know she's got like 17 questions, what would you say to a older adult who maybe had an injury, or maybe would love to run, but is afraid of hurting themselves, right? Or not being able to do, at your level, right? That's a different level. Like, what would you say to motivate someone to do that, or to take that first step?
Now an ad from one of our sponsors. Remember when you could trust the news? Well, then check out Walter. Walter is the free, no-nonsense newsletter for grown-ups that comes to your inbox 3 times a week. From current trends, aging in place, travel, retirement, and everything in between, including a dash of pop culture trivia and throwbacks, Walter is a great way to start your mornings and to stay informed. Oh, and did we mention that it's free? Check us out at thisiswalter.com. Get smart. Get Walter.
I'm glad that you brought that up, because as I run, I am running for that person who maybe ruptured their Achilles or had some sort of injury, and they thought, that's it, I'm not going to be able to be physically active anymore. And sometimes, depending on the personality, they will use that as a crutch to not enjoy their life to the fullest. And my advice to them is, you don't have to get up off that couch and run 100 meters like me. I'm in a unique situation because I had no idea that I would be doing this, but you can do something. I tell people to get up and walk from your house to the mailbox, then walk around the corner, and just keep walking. And then, you can jog, run, or get involved in some kind of activity. If it's going to be something strenuous, like what I'm doing, go see a doctor first, to make sure that you're up to that kind of thing, and then check out the activity. Don't just get up off the couch and decide you're going to run 100 meters or to run a marathon or a half marathon like some people do. Some people do that.
Well, I love all of the things you've shared. I love the bullying aspect, and you're right. And it's funny, I watch a lot of athlete documentaries, and it's really interesting the number of, and even people who have been successful in acting, how many of them recount being bullied.
Yes.
And so that, I think, is a huge message. And I love that you share that with individuals of all ages, especially, I think, younger people. They need to hear that. And also, I think what sets individuals like you apart is that you just said it. You never give up. You never gave up. And I love doctors. We need them. I respect them. But I also loved that you pushed back a little bit, and you had it, for whatever you were sharing, you said like, it was like, I had to do this. I had to do this. And you didn't say, oh no, now that I blew, because obviously those of us that know sports, Achilles tendons ruptures they're among the worst you could possibly do. And many times that is the end, right? But you didn't give up. You heard the doctor, you listened, but you still, got up, continued. Look at you now. And I really just think that's extremely powerful, especially as we age. It's easy to say, oh, my neck hurts, my hand hurts, my whatever, my back hurts. I myself am a little bit could be called the bionic woman, with some of the metal I have in my body. And so I do what I can. I believe in fitness, not to the extent of what you're doing, because you are, an athlete in a sport. But I just think that so much of the body and the mind work together. And obviously just listening to you, right, Joseph, I know you'd agree, like you have so much energy that like you have no idea, but like after this podcast is over, you've given me so much energy to go on for the rest of my day for so many different reasons. And I'm not just blowing sunshine. I really mean that. And so I love that authenticity, but also that can-do spirit. I think that emanates, and it's so needed today in our society. It doesn't matter how old you are. So, Joseph, I know we're kind of getting a little bit to the end, and I want to give you an opportunity to ask Madonna another question before I ask our final question.
You know what? I my brain's gone in 17 directions. I think we'll go for an hour if I ask more questions, because you talked about the race thing, you talked about the bullying thing. Each of those could be their own episodes. The fashion marketing, the motivational speaking. I mean, I'm just pumped up, ready to go for my day because of this conversation. And there was no way I was missing this recording that much. When we met you that first time, I think everyone who's listening to this is like, getting going for a walk or a jog or a cycle or swim or whatever it is. Maybe you motivated me. Maybe I'll go look and see if I can get myself into some competitions now. We'll see.
I think so. I think that's a good challenge. And of course, we can have Madonna back on our podcast to talk about something we can drill a little bit deeper. This isn't a one and done. I think with someone like Madonna, we'd love to have her back, of course. But when we get, before I ask you the final question, do you have any one or two tips that you want to share with our audience that they can do tomorrow, today, without being overwhelmed by your amazing success and thinking, oh no, well, I know I can't do that, so maybe I'm not going to do anything. Can you just give us a tip or two, and then we'll go to the final question?
My tip, I'm going to go back to being that pebble. What is it that you do? And don't say, well, I don't do this or that. Are you good at cooking? Are you good at math? Can you, read? Read to kids. Volunteer. There's something that you have. I get frustrated when people say, well, I can't, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to share. Yes, you do. Look over what you have done in your life, and you have something that you can share, because the next generation needs it. Our neighbors need that something. They need that connection. And we all have something that we can do. You sit and you think about it. You're good at cleaning. Clean someone's house, or what's really good is that babysit for a couple who've got like 3-4 kids or something. If you don't want to babysit for them, go buy them a gift certificate so that they can take everybody out, to lunch or something like that. Because I do that sometimes. I'll send somebody a gift certificate so they can take their grandkids out to lunch or something like that. But there are things that we can do. All right. There we go. Be that pebble. Make those ripples. Come on.
I love that. I think that's awesome. So the last question we ask our guests is like, you're very accomplished. You've done a lot of things. You've had a very interesting journey to date. So why do you get up every day and still, bounce off your couch and get on that track or wherever you train and continue to just sprint and sprint? Why do you do it?
I do it because I know that God has given me a sense of purpose and destiny for my life. I have this sense of purpose, and right now it is to run 100 meters, and I am just waiting to see what else is going to happen. Now, there are some goals. I don't want to share them. We can do this on another show because they have to unfold. You know how that goes. But I am just excited to see what's next. And can I share a quick Tyler Perry quote? This is a quote
Absolutely.
I came across.
Absolutely.
Tyler Perry, in his book, forgot the name of it, says, sometimes we need to supply ourselves with the permission, nourishment, and attention to grow even greater. I read that every single day. Yay, Tyler Perry, for that.
That's a mic
Yay!
drop moment for you. So, Madonna, amazing, I guess is one word to describe it. I was trying to think of a word to describe you, but there's not one word. You're positive, you're motivational, you're resilient, you're impressive, accomplished. I mean, I can go on and on and on. So I am sure some of our listeners are going to want to connect with you. So what is the best way for them to get in touch with you?
They can email me at madfashion2001@yahoo.com. So that's mad, M-A-D, fashion, F-A-S-H-I-O-N, 2001@yahoo.com.
We'll definitely put that in the show notes as well. Madonna, this has been amazing. Thank you again for your time, for your laughter, your smile, your youthful outlook and positivity and everything else. Mary, as always, extreme pleasure. And everyone else, please tune in again next week for another episode of the Prime Life Podcast. Like our episodes, share them, get in touch with us. We'd love to hear from you. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Remember to subscribe to the Prime Life Podcast anywhere you find podcasts. You can find all of our episodes, contact information, and more on our website, primelifepodcast.com. Stay connected with us. Follow us on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok.